My mom approached me and said, "Hey, let's talk relationships this weekend, tomorrow." She said, "Are we going live tomorrow?" And she gave me a couple ideas, and so what are we gonna be talking about today, Mom? What are we doing?
Well, I think for most of you know me, but if you don't, that please know that I do this professionally. I'm a relationship coach. So I study relationship literacy, and I counsel couples. So I've been doing this for almost 5 years now. It's so I've learned a lot about love, but most likely most of you have heard of love languages. It's kind of, but it's been around for like almost 30 years. It was developed by Dr. Gary Chapman, and we'll get to what exactly love languages are in a minute. But as someone, as myself, who was in unhealthy relationships for so many years of my life, I often found myself wondering like how it would feel to actually be in what many people say is a dream relationship. And so when we talk about a dream relationship, when I'm mentioning that, I'm talking about a relationship that's built on much more than transaction. Like I show up for you, I pay the bills, it's not just based on like food, shelter, clothing, and sex. It's deeper than that surface level. And it's defining what that is very personal for all of us. But the fact of the matter is that you cannot have your dream relationship without first understanding how you give and how you receive love, and how the person, your partner, gives and receives love.
Mm.
So, oh,
Mm.
yeah, Jess on here. She said, I've read all the books. I'm so excited for this.
Shout
Yes.
out to Jess. Who here in chat has struggled with either understanding your own love languages or understanding and recognizing someone else's love languages. I'll be the first. Like I still feel like I struggle to even understand what my love languages are. Like I feel like I think I know what I like, but like, is that what I really like? So I wonder if we'll talk about that today. My mom's running the show today, guys. She's got the itinerary. She's running the show, and so I'm excited to see where this goes. 100%.
Well, yeah, we'll both be running the show, but before we get into like what there's five love languages that have been identified, and almost everything can break down in those categories. But the idea is simple. Everybody, every human gives and receives love in a particular way. We prefer it. And some of us have multiple ways, and that's okay. But I'm speaking not just about your romantic relationships, even with your kids and your friends and your coworkers. These are like this is so, so important to understand. Like what we're talking about today is just not romantic relationships. Although it is probably the biggest mistake that people make when they get into relationships is not understanding love, because it's like almost as if you're speaking a different language to someone when you're trying to express that you care about them, and they just don't understand you. It's literally like it goes above their head. They have no idea. Okay, I'm just reading through this. Speaking different native languages, English versus French. Yes, absolutely. So it's so, so important. It's so, so important for us to do this and be able to understand what it is, because speaking the wrong language is like shouting, I love you, in a language someone literally has no idea what you're saying. So and also it sets up our partners for success when we tell them, this is how I see love. So I don't know if you've never heard of them, stay tuned because we're going to talk about what all five are. But for those of you who are listening and you know what love languages are, Sharon, I'd love to hear in the chat, like, what is your primary love language? And if you don't know, just listen, because we're gonna go through all five of them. And I have a little uh, clue for you, Donovan. This is Shifter. This is really interesting because
Who's
our
who's
love
that? I'm just playing.
my baby, you're my boy. Oh, Jess puts acts of service.
Acts of
Okay, that's
service.
a big one.
Chat, yeah. What chat? What's your guys' love languages? Expose yourself a little bit. What are y'all? What's a way that you guys like receiving love? Like, what's a love language for you guys? I want to know. I want to know.
Yeah. And one of the biggest clues, if you struggle to understand what it is now, look back to your childhood. How did you give and love the most as a child? Were you that touchy-feely child who always had to crawl in someone's lap and get the love and be connected physically? Maybe it's physical touch. Were you the kid who was always, giving coupons for, a car wash? That's an act of service. Think about it. So, yeah, as we get into today, okay, so pyromaniac latte says physical touch, hugs, holding hands, etc. I grew up with no physical affection.
Mm.
Wow. Okay, physical 100%. Zenny on two says, this is good. So like as we get to these, I want to give an explanation on because some people, even though it's been around for a long time, most people have no clue what these are. And then we'll talk a little bit about why it becomes kind of a problem, because the last thing we want to do is settle for less. We don't want to be in a relationship with someone where we don't feel loved and we're not reaching like the full potential. And it's horrible. So let's get into it. And a lot of people who are already in relationships, you might ask, okay, what if I'm in a relationship with someone who doesn't speak my love language? We'll talk about that too, because I'm not telling you to break up with somebody. Let's not do that. Okay. So let's get into this. Okay. The first one, the first love language, words of affirmation. So I like to call this love language, tell me you like me.
Tell me
Tell me
you
you like
like
me.
me.
Tell me you like me.
I think
It's
words of
like,
affirmation are a big one for me. It's that reassurance, you know.
yeah, hearing it from someone. So it's to be recognized verbally because we need to be told that we're appreciated. Words of encouragement, like gratitude, praise. This is huge, huge for someone who speaks love in this way. So, could you imagine being in a relationship with somebody who never verbally acknowledges you at all? It feels very draining. I would, have you ever had friendships where they just completely ignore anything you do? They don't show up in that way for you. So that's different. This is actually,
Oh wait, your audio cut out.
can we hear me? There we go. Am I back?
Yep, you're back. You're back. Welcome in, Eve. Thank you for being here, Eve. Welcome in, guys. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. We just getting started, y'all. Tune in. Tune in. No, yeah, words of affirmation. And like I think a lot of us have dealt with there's words that have damaged us. And we know there's always a saying like, sticks and stones and may break my bones, but they've also crushed me. And they've also, I think words can be very, very powerful. 100%.
Well, you just gave a huge clue to everyone who's listening. When you identify your top love language, you're also going to identify the top weapon to hurt you in a relationship. Ooh. So for words of affirmation, you're number one. The number one way someone's going to cut into you is with really hurtful, harmful words. I don't know if you experienced that before. I mean, not like you don't have to give any details, but have you experienced feeling that from someone, been cut down with words?
Yeah, 1 billion%. I think
Yeah. And
it's been a big one.
yeah,
Down Wick,
everyone.
welcome in.
So, like Jess on here says acts of service is her top love language. So it's about, because she may have experienced being with somebody who never showed up in a way she needed them to show up for them. We'll get to acts of service in a second, but the second love language is quality time. This is just uninterrupted one-on-one time, creating a space where your attention is fully on the other person completely. And that person gives you that feeling that nothing is more important in the world than you. I like to say this is show me you're engaged and interested in me. Show me you're interested in me. So uh, this is different for everybody. So, like, for example, my husband defines quality time sitting on the couch watching a Netflix movie. He does because he feels connected to me. He feels like that's quality time to me. I'm like, no, 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 we're not actually speaking. There's nothing deep happening there. Like when we go have like coffee or something, or we go out on a date and we're sitting there talking
Mhm.
across from the table, that's quality time for me. No one else is involved. We're not watching anything. Okay, someone's listening. I'm just reading this. It hurts so much. Jess says it hurt me so much. You don't. Okay, if you don't do what you say you're gonna do. Ooh, yeah, that's huge. Okay. So that's quality time. The third one, and I'd probably say that this one is the most misunderstood love language, and it's receiving gifts. Okay. And I like to call this love language, show me you know me.
Show me you
Show
know
me.
me. I think this one is
So
definitely misunderstood.
it is. So it's not just about expensive things. A lot of people think that when your love language is gifts, receiving gifts, that you're egotistical, you're materialistic. That not isn't always necessarily true. This happens to be my last love language on the list. It's number five for me, which is and my husband as well. So we're not big gift givers, which is it works for our relationship. But for this person, gifts no matter how small or big, and experiences that, cost money, doing something, going somewhere is really important to them. It's like, it's like everything to them. This speaks love. So I know for you, Shifter, this is like last on your list.
Yeah, I
Probably one of the
mean,
last.
I don't need nothing, y'all. Like, I guess like here's the thing is like I do appreciate, like like hey, I picked you up, like your drink from the gas station. Like I like gifts like my snack. Like I got you
Useful. So
what?
you like useful things. You like useful things that you're actually going to need, or
Yeah,
you
like I
need
don't
them.
need like,
No,
nice fancy like here goes your new shiny object. Like I don't want none of that. But if you like were like here goes your flaming hot Cheetos and your Mountain Dew and I got you like Chipotle gift card or something, I'd be like, "Damn." I'd be like that's the kind of I don't yeah, gifts aren't very important for me.
well, it's, that almost could be an act of service then for you, because someone's feeding you, they're taking care of you, they're taking something off your to-do list. Like I didn't have to stop at the store and pick up something. So it's almost an act of service, just about. Okay,
Pyro
I'm
said
just
no
noting
noted.
here, periodically send Cheetos and Mountain Dew.
Hey, I you said acts of service. I think that's genuinely I think that might be one of my number one love languages.
Oh yeah, we're going to get to it in a second because I have an example from when you were a child. Okay, so we got receiving gifts. The fourth on the list is acts of service. And this is to truly help someone with the big and the small things, taking a burden off their shoulders. Like we talked about, it's another way to understand this is do things to relieve me. Do things to relieve me. That's acts of service. So this person really values and sees love in a way that someone's taking off a burden from their back. And even if it's tiny,
Hmm.
like you said, stopping at the gas station, like I got you, I'll pick up your mail or whatever you need me to do. It's those small things mean massive love for that person. It's huge.
It's a
So the
W for
last,
me. Just chat. I just want to take
so
I just want to take 1 second, Mama Dukes, because we've had a few more people roll in here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We have Mama Shift in the building. We've already been flying into it. We're talking about the different love languages right now. But guys, please feel free to step up and chat. What are we already asked earlier, but for those people that are here now, like what's your guys' like love language? Like what out of the things that we've been listing, like how can we show you guys love? I want to know. I want to know. So sorry, mom.
yeah. Yeah, share your primary love language because it's very insightful even as friends to understand this about people. It's huge. The last but definitely not the least love language is physical
Physical
touch.
touch, y'all. That's a big one
This
for me
is
too. I'm very
show yeah, show me connection. It's show me care through physical connection. And for this person, like the power of the hug and the touch is like everything. To be cared for physically is everything. So not everyone communicates and receives love in the same way. Like we said earlier, these are just the five categories. And this is actually my top love language, physical touch, number one. And I realized really early on in life, like I also was missing a lot of physical touch. Someone talked earlier about physical touch being their top love language because they didn't receive it. One of the ways when we look back at childhood, it becomes clues. For you, when you were a child, you used to give me these coupons on Mother's Day. I remember like the handmade
I
coupons.
remember, yeah.
Oh yeah, I have a picture somewhere. I gotta find it. I'll share it someday with you. But I still have a picture of one of these coupons, and on the coupon would be like Happy Mother's Day, Mom. You get a free car wash and a
Hmm.
15-minute shoulder rub. Shoulder rub. So there's the acts of service and the physical touch.
I remember also like, oh, if I wanted to have a sleepover at the homie's house this weekend, or if I want friends over, what would I go do?
You clean that house like, man, you were Mrs. Doubtfire. Hello. You're like vacuuming lines in the couch and
The
then
lines in
it
the
was
couch, y'all. Even on the stairs, there was lines on the
yes,
stairs
it
from
was.
me. I'd be like, "Don't walk on the stairs. You're gonna mess up the couch lines." Kaden said, my love
No,
language is also buying their favorite snacks or cooking dinner, putting up candles and their favorite movie, some music, and just have a good conversation while cuddling or complimenting them. Sounds like it sounds
this
like
is
a lot
great.
of it sounds like a quality time right there for you.
I mean, the idea is why is this, why is love languages so important? Okay. It's if you think about this, how many of us have wasted so much of our energy and time trying to connect with someone and or impress someone, and we just feel it goes to waste. Okay. And
Mm.
if you meet someone and you really genuinely like them, whether they're friends or obviously, we don't choose our family, we get given our children, we have to show up and learn how to speak their language if we want them to feel loved. And vice versa, we had to explain to them like what love means to us. We got to set people up for success because we don't just want to show up and assume, that people are going to just automatically do what we need. I guess I have a question for you, Shift. In all your past relationships, looking back now, do you feel like you were really clear with the person you were with about how you needed to be loved? Or do you think, or did you think it was implicit? Like they should have known. They should see
Um,
that.
there's an aspect of like where I feel like there's an aspect to where I feel like there's a reality that I've created for myself to where I feel like I have explained my needs and wants, and I feel like I have expressed that. But there's an aspect of I've been in, my whole life I've been in long relationships, and I notice a trend or a pattern in which um, I was never really like I was a people pleaser, like I was the one that always ended up having my heart broken because like I couldn't leave really. It was hard for me to walk away from relationships. And so I was always ending up like being left. And I think that there's this aspect of where I finally was able to find my voice and was finally able to express um what meant a lot to me, and it did feel good, and it doesn't mean that it changed things overall, but I think my lesson learned was finding my voice immediately, and not letting things, because like I feel like we get comfortable if you get into a relationship that's X years long, and we kind of fall into like comfortability, into like the same
Yeah.
patterns.
Do
And it's
you do you find that it's difficult when you do meet someone? By the way, we're talking about these love languages. There is online quizzes and tests you can take to determine your love language. Go there, just Google it. Just Google free love language test and go take it. It takes like 10-15 minutes after the stream, and you can determine it. But most people just hearing the five love languages can kind of pick out, and
well,
some
well,
people speak it
Jess, I just want to, sorry to cut you off, but Jess said this, like over explaining, and I've
why you don't feel love.
like there's this aspect to, we've talked about, what I would really like to talk to you about, like defining different attachment styles and characteristics within people, soon for one of our streams, but there's like a
Yeah.
this anxiety within me that feels the need to over explain things to people, to either defend or justify myself. So I think it's yeah, that's been a struggle of mine my whole life.
Yeah, I think attachment styles are really huge. I think that's going to be a whole show, man. We need to sit down and talk about
We
that
gotta sit
because
down.
we got to sit down and talk about it. We got to have a real long sit down and talk about it because I've found in the work that I'm doing with couples now, people who are in relationships and are struggling, like it all goes back to their attachment style, all of it. You
Mm,
can learn, you can
big
learn
creature.
and understand. Yeah, you can understand and learn how to speak love in a different way. um Understanding it's one thing, and people on here over explaining why you don't feel loved. I just want to give a little tip to everybody, whether you're single or you're in a relationship, and this is a psychology hack. Okay, if you want something from someone, always think positively. Don't speak negative in the negative, meaning don't say you didn't do or you don't do. Instead say what I would really love is, what I would really want is. It's such a switch in language. And I know when we're hurt and we're angry, we're so quick. I can speak, I'm speaking for myself. We're so quick to say like, man, that really made me mad. And you didn't do this. And I don't feel loved and you never give and whatever. But it's different to say, I've been feeling really disconnected from you. And I would love to have this from you. That it's such a switch. It's just massive when we speak to people in a different way. It's huge.
I think
MashaAllah, I'm
what's
just reading
been
out.
we have a in Shift family, we've got a first time chat. Yogurt's here. Yogurt. Yo underscore Gert.
Hello.
What up, Gert? Yogurt. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. For those of you guys tuning in, if you're not already following the Twitch live stream, come follow the Twitch live stream. It's free. And if you have Amazon Prime, you can link your Amazon Prime account, subscribe for free. It doesn't cost any money. It gets rid of those advertisements and supports the Shift family. Um, yeah,
I'd like to ask the chat, if you have children in your life, whether they're your nieces, your nephews, or your children, do you know what your child's love language is? This is really powerful. And do you try and show them love in that way? Or do we show up and we try to give them love in the way we want to be loved? This is so powerful to like really
this is a
think
big one
about.
right here. This is a
Yeah, it's huge.
Eve with the gifted sub to Yogurt. Well, see, look at
Uh,
that. Yogurt, welcome to the Shift family. Eve taking care of us. Thank you, Eve, so much.
yeah,
Here's
this
there's
is a
a
game changer.
I want to say this. It was maybe like 6 months to a year ago, Mom. You really like opened my eyes so much for me on this journey. You've helped me so much. And there was this moment, through this journey. It's been very tough. It's been a very tough ride this last year. So much has been going on, and it's like I'm over here like, look at me, I'm struggling, I'm going through this, and it's like, what about your daughter? Like, what do you think she's going through? How you think she feels? And like, it's and you were also bringing up, we were talking about love languages in the past, and like I think you had challenged me to really like look for Rose's love languages and to see um how she shows love, because I think you were mentioning of with, especially with people, well, especially with kids, it's like they give love how they want to receive it. And so that really helped me a lot, and I didn't even really like, it's I consider myself, I know that I'm an amazing father, and just by my love for my daughter and like the way our relationship is. But it really helped me level up and find a way to connect with her, so I thank you for that.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I wish I would have learned this many, many years ago. I think I would have been able to speak love a little more to you, all three of you. But it's all a learning process. I have a question, for everybody sitting watching as well. If you express your language of love and how you need to be loved to someone, and they refuse to do it that way,
I was
does
gonna
that
bring
mean they
that
truly
up.
don't love you? And does that mean they truly don't love you?
Ooh.
Like if
If
you are
so
very
so if I express to you how I want to be loved and you don't reciprocate that, does that mean that you don't love me? Chat,
truly.
I want to know what y'all say. What do y'all think? Does that mean that they don't love you, or does that mean that they have the inability to love themselves? I'm just playing. I'm just playing. There's a line in King Shift where it says, "How are you gonna say that you love me to my face when you can't even put yourself first anyway?" Um, Pyro says, "I'm not sure what my siblings' languages are, but I give them lots of physical affection, hugs, let them sit on my lap, cuddles if they're sad, and etc." And I guess like Pyro, if I were to ask you, like, how do you like to receive love? Is it those things? And I think there's a common connection of how we tend to give love is the like um is how it's just our truth in a sense. My love
Okay.
language is just a quote, right, created by me. I don't think it means they don't love you, but I don't think you're with the right person if they can't. Ooh,
Yeah.
what would,
So,
that's a, ooh. So what do you say about that one, Mom? As a
well,
professionalist.
well, here's the thing. if they can't, that's a really big question. Are they like physically incapacitated? I don't know. Because here's the thing.
If someone says like I really would love roses and they don't
And you
ever
were
buy
like,
you
I
roses,
refuse. Yeah. Because understanding love languages is about changing who you are. You're never going to love buying roses, okay? If your partner wants roses, okay? You're never going to change that about yourself. But loving others in a way that makes them feel seen and valid is essential and like not a non-negotiable in a relationship. It's a non-negotiable. And if you can't get to yourself to the point where, sometimes we have to, people think love is all about, it's love is all about negotiation. Okay. There's no such thing as like you're going to find the perfect person and you're going to be so perfectly compatible that there's going to be no problems and everything's going to be rainbows and roses and unicorns. Every single relationship, matter of fact, based on the world-renowned leaders and got on relationship literacy, they, after 50 years, have discovered that 69% of all relationship problems are unsolvable. That means the most successful couples are only solving 31% of their problems. And if that's the case, you got to decide which of those 69% of problems are you going to keep, going back over and going through and dealing with. And to not feel loved in a relationship, oh, I think that's like, that'd be draining. It'd be non-negotiable for me.
well, I
So
think like
yeah.
a big one is like how many of us in chat today have been in a relationship or been in a friendship to where they don't feel appreciated or heard. I think that's a lot of our struggles, and like we look at like our childhood trauma, and it doesn't just have to be relationships, but I've talked to a lot of people in the Shift family, and I've seen the comments when people say, and like there's this aspect of like a lot of past trauma is from family,
Mhm.
and like there's this aspect to where I have been blessed with you, mom, an amazing mother that I've always been close with. We've always had such a sincere connection, but we look at like my like with my father. There's no connection. Even with my biological father, who I've never even spoken to in my y'all don't even I get this comment a lot, like I wish my dad was cool like you. I wish my dad did these stuff, and like I have never met my father, my biological father. I've never met him, never spoken a word to him. My stepfather, who was a big part of my life for 2 decades, forever will have love for him for being there and taking, doing what he thought was best in the moment. But there is no relationship or connection there. We haven't talked, and I was just looking at it. It's almost been a year. It's almost been a year since we have last spoken. And so
Wow.
it's kind of crazy. And so I think there's a way of allowing your pain and your trauma to be, like I said, it's not for you to break down, but for you to break free in a sense. Sorry, I'm
Well,
getting a little off topic, mom. Keep
I
me
know,
on
no, you're
topic.
not. No, you're not. It's beautiful, actually. Well, what's one of the most meaningful ways that someone has ever shown you love that matched your love language? You don't have to say the person, but maybe the experience. That you can think back and you just really felt loved, like
I
it was an
think
experience.
with where my heart is at and where my like, I feel like it's changed as I've grown a little bit, as I've been through what I've been through, and what I used to think was something that I need was something that I realized I just wanted, and it wasn't something that I needed. But for me, it's like my passion and my love is my creativity. It's the shifter movement. It's what I'm doing right now. It is me, and it's what I love to do. And there's acts of services of showing love and support to the movement that really just I appreciate so much. And regardless if it's relationship or friendship or partnership, I truly hold it close to my heart, and I value it very, very much so. Acts of services, you can, because the thing is that words mean very, there's this weird aspect. I'm actually realizing it right now. I'm having
You're having
mindset.
epiphany right this moment.
And I want to say this. I talked just a few minutes ago. You guys said that words of affirmation. I said that words of affirmation are. I think words are affirmation are good for my ego, but it's not something that I need. I think that words because I come from this trauma and this past in my relationships where uh, the words were what cut me down, but like what words hold no value without actions, and so that
Yeah,
leads me
I
to
mean,
that the
I would say like you are definitely the leader in our family. And I know through the last few years when push came to shove and action needed to be taken, you were the first one to show up. You were like, I'm there. I'm going to show up. I'm going to drive. I'm going to be there. I'm going to do the thing, pick up the thing, help the person. You were always that person. And so I know for you, that was the number one way of you expressing love. And and I think sometimes like even your siblings didn't really see that as love. They were like, well, what do you mean? He doesn't really, because their love language was quality time. And for you, someone that battles ADHD, and you obviously have gotten a lot more in the last few
quality time
years.
is something I've
It's very hard
struggled
for you.
with.
And it's actually Rose's one of her top love languages as well.
Yeah. And that's why it's
And
hard. That's why, I talked about this with you recently, where a big struggle of mine is going through this winter rut of like not having fresh content. Not like
yeah,
I haven't filmed content with Rose in 2 months. And it's like I'm tired. I work hard through the week, but then when I have them on the weekends, I just want to like just connect with her and spend time with her and like not make it about the movement. Um, so it's hard. I'm trying to do what's best. Creature said a big one. He said, if you could design, I have a question for you. This is from Creature. If you could design your own unique love language, what would it be?
I have one.
Okay. She's like, I already, you can't mindset shift. I can't,
Mine's easy. Okay, yeah. If you could invent a sixth love language, what would it be? Everyone's sharing the stream. What would your sixth love language be? Mine, 100%. 100%. My sixth love language is photography. And I know it sounds strange to people. I was a photographer, a professional for, over well, 15 years. And when someone takes a photo of me or allows me to take their photo, it is like it's that creativity. I get to flow. I get to be that person with them, and I get to see them. I see someone's soul when I get to take their photo. It's like so special to me. And so when someone denies me that, I instantly feels like they're stabbing me in the heart. It's not,
mm.
it's like hurts so much.
And
It is
guys,
so
like
much. And
my
when
mom is a legend with the camera, by the way. Like this is what before you flew to the United Kingdom and started that journey. My mom was a full-time photographer for a decade, doing it on her own. Not necessarily like on your own, but like you were the business. It was your business.
yeah,
You ran the business, and you are such an amazing. You know what what accolade did we just celebrate with your photography recently? You promote yourself as a love coach, and but like you just tell them real quick. Tell the chat really quick.
well, I do photography on the side still for just some people, and I just made the cover of Forbes magazine in London. So I one of my pictures did.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yay.
Can we get a
And
W? Let's get a W in chat. My mom's picture that she literally took is on the front cover of a Forbes magazine in the UK, and that's so amazing. I'm so proud of you.
thank
It's
you so much.
crazy. It's crazy.
You. I do love doing it. And it's funny because some of my closest friendships and people in my life are through photography. And so when someone really when someone lets their guard down in front of me and I take their picture, that's a love language for me. I connect instantly. That's just, and I notice sometimes, when you're really busy and I want to make content with you and I'm back home in America, and you don't, sometimes you're so busy and we can't get together. I feel unloved. I'm like, let me take your photo. Let me go. Let's
It's
do
like
it.
that, and the last time you were here, you kind of got your opportunity a little bit.
did.
and
Yeah, we did a flash photo shoot. It was amazing.
literally took like 10 pictures, and we came up with some amazing, amazing results. And so, if I were to make one, if you really want something, all right, ladies, I'm gonna give you all the brownie points, all the ladies. um Anything with shift music. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. If any shift music, if you guys are showing love to shift music, I really appreciate that a lot. It just not even for the ladies, but like to all the brothers out there, all the men.
Yeah,
I really truly appreciate that that specific love and support, and like the music support has been actually um, probably the most behind the scenes recently, and so I
that's really
really
good to
really
hear.
appreciate that a lot, guys. Like for real. Mute.
Preacherology says, I just want to read this. So my love language is doing bodybuilding and making game development and making 3D models. That's intense. That's amazing. Wow.
Love that. Love that. Creature's been doing 3D models since I've known him for the last 3 years. It's crazy.
That's
Don Wake was
amazing.
listening before stream. Thank you, Don. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I think this I want to also talk about, the five love languages for what to avoid. So if you know
Oh,
someone in your life who has a love language, if you really can't meet it fully, at least avoid these things. Okay? This
you
is
got
so
my
powerful.
attention on this one. Eve, hang on really quick. Eve
So,
said my six is being faithful. Being faithful. That's a big one. Like I said,
ooh,
like
that's huge.
I've been lied to
Wow.
and cheated on a lot in my past, and it's a big one for me too. Is just honesty. Um, yeah, it's the words
That's huge.
is just you ain't gonna break my soul with being honest, but it's like it does. Like I have a trigger being lied to. All right,
Yeah, same
so
here.
mom, what are some help us all out, mama. What are some love languages we need to avoid?
Well, okay. Well, before we do that, I want to share my screen. This is just an old picture of you, but you're so cute. I think I've shared this before. So this is I teach this to people, okay? And matter of fact, there's a picture of you.
Okay,
That's
so
your 21st.
I'm part of your master class presentation.
Yeah, you are. You are in debt. You're indeed. And so here's the thing. It's when I talk about childhood clues, you gave me that coupon, for physical touch with the massage and also the acts of service. So I think people when they heard this, they're always so inspired by it. They're like, oh my God, I need to like go back and see how my kid's showing it to me. It's really, really important. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. It was cute, cute little. I love
I
legendary
mean,
shifter.
physical touch is a big one for me too. Like I'm really big
I
on
think that's
physical
number two for
touch.
you.
It's definitely
I
number
think it's
two. I'm a very touchy person, but I'm very.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Wait, let's talk about how touchy you are. How many times do you think in high school Shifter got written up by the teachers, if you haven't ever been on our live streams before, for trying to give the teachers hugs?
I just will always give everyone hugs. I just how I was. I'm just I'm the like I
They
like.
loved you.
I'm just a very like I don't know. I'm even when I like talk to everyone, I use emojis, purple hearts, and like, it's just
Yeah,
I'm
very
very
expressive.
yeah.
But you know what's interesting is while you are very expressive, you are also a very like you have such high integrity. You're not sleazy. You know what I'm saying? Like those guys who are always like slimy and touching everyone and girls are you're not like that at all. You have a lot of integrity and you're always cautious about like where and when you're showing your, affection. I think that's good. It's good. So let's get into things to avoid for
All
love
right, you got
languages.
my
This is
attention. Tell teachers if they
our
don't
minute.
want hugs. They weren't trying to catch a case.
Safeguarding issue. Oh, do you prefer handwritten love notes or sweet text throughout the day? Well, that's a good question.
Hey, remember my old box of notes that I would keep? I used to
Hmm.
my handwriting is very nice, y'all, and I used to write all
You
the
have
time.
beautiful handwriting.
We both have
I
really
still
good
have a lot of your handwriting.
penmanship. I think yeah, I used to like pass notes like every day in school when I was young. I would fold them up and like look at it, and it's translated into the movement, like with me doing my thank you cards. Like I have done, no BS, guys, I have done over 500 thank you cards, and I have written a personalized note and signed every single one of them. There's never been
Matter of fact,
one.
look at this. If you can read this, it says, "I love you, Victoria." This is a little love note from my husband. He left at my desk. Just
Yeah.
he's we write a lot of poetry to each other, so that's
You
sweet. He
know,
leaves a lot
Creature
of love
said,
notes for me.
sorry, Mama, this will be the last one. Creature said, do you prefer handwritten love notes or sweet text throughout the day? I think there's no preference on it. It's just a way of leaving an impression, regardless if someone types it or writes it. I think it's just a way of going out of your way to show someone you care.
Don Wick asked an amazing question. So, how do we mix our love language with self-care? Wow. Okay.
Ooh,
Okay, this is really good. This is powerful because if you
it's a
guys
big
can get
one.
this, it's like massive transformation in your life, okay? If your top love language, you think about it, is acts of service, okay? Ask yourself, how are you showing up for yourself? Are you neglecting things that are essential for you? Are you putting those off? If your love language is words of affirmation, like what is your self-talk? Like, are you putting yourself down? Are you saying those negative thoughts to yourself? If it's physical touch, when's the last time you like took care of your body, like a hot bath, getting a massage, you know, just doing those things is so important. Gifts. When's the last time you went out and just bought something for yourself?
You
Like
know, when was the
literally?
last time like you gave yourself like a 5 minute foot rub?
Exactly. a
Just
hundred
kidding.
percent.
Catch
Even
me
even
over here.
that's
Just
true. I do. I do. We have the massage. You and I have the massage cane. That thing is amazing.
the
Give yourself.
massage cane is amazing. I've got it
It
right there
is
over.
so true.
I got it right over here.
Even you think about quality time. So if your quality time is uninterrupted time focused on yourself, that's not focused on social media. You're not doom scrolling. You're not watching somebody else do something. You're literally like absorbed in a book, or you're learning something, or maybe you're writing, or maybe you're walking, you're taking a hike in nature. I don't know. You're doing something for yourself that is beneficial. It's so, so true. Physical touch. I got myself weighted blankie. Oh, yes. A lot of
I
people
love
love
the
those weighted.
weighted. No, I used to have a weighted blanket, and they are amazing.
Oh my God. I sleep
They
with
are
like five blankets
amazing. I
on.
had like a 20 pound weighted blanket, and oh yeah, they're amazing. I highly recommend weighted blankets. I think that's very true. I think it's not to be. I think we can overanalyze, and there's so many different opinions and so many different ways to go about this, and there's no truly one right way, one wrong way. But I think like combining your love languages with self love, an easy way to identify if it's a good combination is if are you giving yourself those things, the things that if you like to receive love in certain ways, is it, are you finding ways to create that for yourself? And so I talk about, like words of affirmation and acts of services, and you look at my to-do list all the time, you look at my how hard I'm working, and then you look at words of services. I'm telling you, like 99% of the time I'm listening to my own songs, to instrumentals, or Valentine's music. And it's literally like, like everything I've done is for myself. That's how I'm still here today, even going through hell, going through a lot of a lot of adversities. Everything has been for me. So that's why I promote self-love. So I want to know, all right, enough rambling. What are some love languages we should avoid, Mom? Like, you got my attention. Wait, hold up, you're muted. You're muted, chat. I love y'all. Thank you for being here today. You are good. Take your time. We got technical difficulties. I can't hear you yet.
How about now?
Yep, I got you.
Okay, perfect. So, okay, if your love language is words of affirmation, which we already talked about, obviously, actions to take would be like send an unexpected note, text or card, tell them what you mean through verbal, appreciation. But if you have to avoid this at all costs, you have to avoid not recognizing or appreciating their effort. You have to avoid that because even the smallest things, when words of affirmation is huge and you don't speak it, you ignore it, that's going to be massive, that person. And the second thing is using words to harm that person as a weapon, saying, "Oh, you're so stupid," or "You never," "Oh, you're a horrible," those are that for the person who words of affirmation is their love language is going to be 10x when it comes to injury to their heart. It's really, really, really important to avoid those things. So Just making sure. I'm sorry,
So
Steve.
when someone essentially like the moment you recognize, but I think it's very difficult for us to recognize it, and it took me 30 years to realize that my love languages were used against me. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
you even think of like physical touch. Don't hug me. Don't touch me. Like, like get away. And then it's like, I love you. Give me a hug. Come here. And then it's like, there's this, it's like it's this key. And just like you said it perfectly, it's a weapon to tear me down is using the love languages. So I think like it's really just being recognizing them using your love languages against you.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Okay, physical touch. So things to avoid is physical neglect. Now remember, physical touch is all about nonverbal use of body language to show you love them. So physical neglect or abuse. And so the person whose physical touch is their top love language, it would again, any abuse is hard for anyone. It doesn't matter. But if you seek and speak love through physical touch, this is going to be catastrophic for you to be in an abusive situation or somebody's literally either neglecting you or actually physically harming you. So that's something to avoid. It's big. Okay, receiving gifts. This is huge. Unenthusiastic giving, gift receiving, and forgetting about special occasions. So it means like for this person, if you forget a special occasion, like we know people who gifts is their top love language. Like if you
Oh yeah,
forget their birthday, a holiday, it is like war. You don't
it's
love
very important to
me.
them.
It's so, so important. It's so you can't be unenthusiastic about those things, even if it's not important to you. It's so you have to show up for that person. It's going to be really important. Okay, quality time. Okay, things to avoid. Distractions when you're spending time together. Okay, long time without one-on-one time. So when you're with that person, quality time is like you'll probably notice with Rose. I think Rose is her top two love. My personal opinion as her grandmother is that it's quality time and physical touch. Those are
Yeah,
her two love languages.
I agree with you.
Um, yeah, and what I notice is if any distractions need to go away, like it's hard for her. And it's like the phone's got to go away, the TV's got to go away, and like that focus
Yeah,
that needs to leave. And then, also just going a long time without that one-on-one time. That person, you got to avoid that, for that quality time. And then the last is acts of service. And this is lacking, oh, like Jess said earlier, this is huge. Lacking your follow through on small and large things. So when you say you're going to do something and you don't, man, that's a
you
sin for
better
that
put your
person,
money
for that
where your
service
mouth
person.
is.
Exactly. You got to put your money where your mouth is. So those are some things to avoid. I think it's really important. And, if you're single and I don't know how many people here are single who are watching this today or will watch even the replay, but how do you figure out someone's love language ahead of time? Like, what do you ask? How do you, because you want to make sure, because look, if your last love language is someone's first love language, that's going to be the hardest thing for you going into a relationship. You're going to have to learn how to speak literally a different language. So I'm not saying you can't be with somebody whose love language is different, but how do you figure it out? Like for me, physical touch is my number one love language. And a lot of people don't know, like I met my husband, he was in England and I was in America. And we got to know each other for many months without like actually physically being together. So how do I determine like if we're compatible that way? And we didn't even like kiss each other until we got married.
It's
So a lot of
crazy.
people are like, yeah, it's crazy. A lot of people say, oh, that I would never. Well, I asked the right questions. I let him know. I was like, I let him know, like being close with someone, like holding hands, public display of affection, obviously in like not a, rude way is really important to me. Like, are you comfortable with that? And he had to think about it and he's like, yeah, I'd be fine with it, of course. And so we had to talk about those things. So he knew who I was. It was very, very important. You got to ask those questions. Okay, someone said I just got single a month ago. We broke up. I'm so sorry. Or maybe I'm not sorry if it's better for you. It's thinking about, for those of you who had relationships and, understanding. understanding how and why relationships end. And I'd wonder if love languages played a role in that for you, if that was part of the destruction, not feeling loved, not feeling cared for, or them not feeling that way. It'd be interesting for people to share. Okay, so someone said, I feel like I'm just getting to know the person over time. My ex and I got to know each other's languages just by being friends and getting to know the other person past a shallow level. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
I think,
yeah, it's a I think like I said too, like there's this aspect of not addressing that right away, and you just let life progress, and like you just fall in love, you get these emotions, and you don't really take the time to do that work and to have those
absolutely.
conversations. I think like we're we're just ready to just bust through the gates, and like I think like every relationship should be built on like a solid foundation before, like you said, like you were talking and connecting for months before you ever even um truly took that step with Taff. And so it's I'm sure it had its challenges, but look at where you're at now, and look at how it's played out.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I'm really intentional about it. So, we can't read other people's minds. And sometimes we're looking for clues, and sometimes we pick up on the wrong clues. Sometimes we see what we want to see. We see like, because if acts of service is your love language, you're looking for all that confirmation that person's going to do those things, but and you're missing out on the other things that they're showing and you might disregard them. So it's really important to like ask them the right
Yeah.
questions, or maybe even send them the test, be like, hey, take this test, let's have a talk about it, find out, because we don't want to get into relationships where we're not feeling loved and we're struggling, to have that.
I'm gonna post a link for the love language test.
Yeah. I would love for people to share. I'm looking at my some of my notes from earlier. I was think this is good. Something that you think would be an attribute to look for in a dream relationship. Something that would be above like the typical, you know, typical, like we said, food, shelter, clothing, like share something that even whether you're in a relationship or not, like what is something, even maybe you share shifter, like what is something that would be like an incredible attribute of a dream relationship?
I mean, like, I remember from our last stream that one of the original streams we did, the shifter spot, like it was self love. I think like a big thing for me is recognizing that you are doing those things for yourself. Because how could I expect, like I really think like beyond the picture. Like I look and analyze, and I like, even if you have like these green flags to you, and like these, if you're beautiful and gorgeous and attractive, and like you have these things, like I still will analyze and think like behind the scenes, like I'm gonna look and see who you are underneath that mask. So I think like um just for me, it's really just about being able to put yourself first in certain situations, but then also being comfortable with, like I said, just like it's just the acts of services, being here, showing up, and following through on your word. Like like we talked about trust issues and boundaries. I don't know. It's a complicated question. There's it's a I genuinely have not thought of like I of course like my heart like I'm not ready for a relationship, like to truly pursue one. But I'd say just as of recently, I've um started to look for like just like signs in people that I not just with anyone specifically, but in everyone that I talk to, so I can like observe it, of just like seeing like the ways that they treat themselves, and like the I don't know, just being patient. I think is a big thing too that we all struggle with. We all want to jump the gun. Um,
Yeah. I actually had a session with a couple not too long ago. And in the session, one of the things I always prescribe to my couples I work with is something called the weekly check-in, where they check in with each other every week and the questions are all like really positive. So they go away feeling good. And one of the questions in the weekly check-in is, how can I show up better for you next week? Like, what do you need from me? Well, how can I show up better for you next week? And this husband kept asking his wife, telling his wife to just, you know, de-stress, de-stress
Like,
yourself.
just take care of yourself, girl. You the
And he
problem.
kept,
You the
and she was so pissed off. She's like, "What? That's not for me. That's for you. I mean, that's not for you. It's for me." And he's like, "But you don't understand. When you're stressed, it affects me.
you know
Like,
it
just
that's the
please take care of yourself." And it was a big aha moment for her. She said after 2 weeks, he kept saying the same thing, and she finally was like, "Oh, this really does affect you." And and I think it's important to, like, and one of the things they had been kind of not arguing about, but she likes to go get like regular massages, for de-stressing. And he always kind of pokes fun at her, like, "Oh, here's your other massage." And I said to him, I said, "Have you connected that those massages are for her well-being, like her self-care and to de-stress?" And he goes, I guess I didn't put those together as obvious as it should be, but it wasn't. And he says, "Man, he's gonna look at those very differently now." And so he's gonna be like, go get those
go get that
massages.
massage, girl.
Here's an extra half an hour. Go.
And I think that's a big one too, guys. Chat for those of you guys that are watching, not just in like intimate relationships, but for friendships also. We talked about letting go of things that no longer serve you. Our last stream, our last Wednesday, and there is this aspect to where, like I said, like I will be there for my friends, my family. I will be there for my loved ones. Um, but there's also this respect of like all of your energy, you watching this, your energy is valuable, and
Yeah.
it has like a purpose to it. And if you are draining my energy consistently because of your lack of being able to handle it, is going to really turn off the other individual at some point. I think regardless of what type of relationship it is, it's okay to vent and to be there for one another. But I think it's not okay to expect me to be your crutch. It's not okay to expect me to um, abuse the fact that I am a protector and I am a problem solver. But sometimes I don't gotta solve your like it's not about I don't have to, but like I don't like I want to solve bigger things. I have I'm doing a lot. My brain's already focused on so much, and if I consistently have to like look down here, like it's it's a red flag for me. Self love. Hashtag self love.
That's huge. I want to read some of the people are sharing here. Pyromaniac Latte says communication and honesty. That is number one for me in a dream relationship. You can be the perfect person, but if you can't communicate, there are going to be issues that won't get
Mm-hmm.
solved. And also drink some damn water.
You talking to me?
Yeah, they're
I
probably
do.
talking to you.
I'm out of my drink. I've been.
Okay. We
You
got
know what,
Raptor
mom?
Squad that just
Hold
came in.
it.
Hello.
Raptor, what's going on? Hold it down. I'm gonna go grab a drink really quick. I'll be right back in like 30
Okay.
seconds. Chat.
Yeah.
Welcome in for being here. Or thank you for being here. Welcome in. I appreciate you guys so much. We're how much we got a little bit left. Just
Yeah, just a few more minutes left. Yeah, we'll
perfect,
close up here soon and see how people. Yeah. Yeah, I want to
perfect.
read some more people. Go get your drink.
Yeah,
Go
if
get
you
your
guys have
drink.
any questions for my mom, like guys, like she gets paid to do this. She's a professionalist life coach, or sorry, relationship. You are a life coach, but
Yeah,
relationship
I am.
coach is your. Sorry, I'll stop. All right, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Love y'all.
Okay, go get a drink. Yeah, I want to share. Okay, Marmar, she says supporting each other in personal growth while also giving one another space. I definitely need time for myself, and my partner needs to feel comfortable with that. Ooh, that's really, really big. I love that. Creatureology asks, do you believe love should be effortless or does it require intentional effort? Oh, 100% requires intentional effort. If you believe that you're just going to find the dream person and everything's going to be absolutely perfect, I said this a little while ago, that's like for Disney movies. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing at all. And I think we're going to talk about attachment styles in a future live, because I think one of the things that we don't realize is how we're attaching to people. Okay, Candace asks, how do you walk away from the person you thought you'd be spending your entire life with? Oh, that's a very deep question. Let's wait for Shift to come back for that because I know he'll have some take on that. That was actually one of the topics that we were considering covering tonight is how to heal and regain your confidence after a breakup. Because a lot of people, I've been through a divorce. I come from divorce. My kids have been through divorce and breakups, and so it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult. Yeah, it's a really deep question. I I feel like the very first, I won't go through all of them, but I feel like the first step to healing and walking away is to have like a true acceptance of what is happening and what is going on. And it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done. Um, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Shift?
I can
Oh, he
hear
will
you
in a
loud and
second.
clear, Mama.
Okay, perfect. We're talking about, we got a really deep question here. How do you walk away from the person you thought you'd be spending your entire life with? And this is actually one of the other topics we thought about for tonight is how do you heal and grow confidence after a breakup? But I want to just give one little tip for that. And I was starting to say it. The first step, either if you're in the relationship or you've just left the relationship or you're considering it, is you have to accept the reality of what's going on, not just the feelings, but the facts. Both are important.
Facts versus feelings.
Facts and feelings are both important. We cannot have a good relationship without either of them. You got to look at how you're feeling and you got to look at the facts. So, like, I would literally get a piece of paper out and write down facts and feelings and make a line and how you're feeling on one side and what are the facts on the other. And come to, and even not just about the other person, but also about yourself. Like, sometimes when a relationship ends, we tend to pin the other person as the villain, right? But the truth is, even if, for the smallest example, you allowed yourself to be a doormat, that's on you.
Mm.
That's your responsibility. So you have to write down, I struggle to be assertive. I struggle to stand up for myself. I struggle to show myself respect and set boundaries. That's something I did, and you got to accept that. That's the first step.
Yeah, I really struggled with setting boundaries for myself and upholding them and being serious about. Now I don't play around with my boundaries now. I'm telling you. Like I've it's almost night and day now. There's an aspect
You're
of
very strong.
yeah, my boundaries are very strong, and if you cross them, like it's
It's like,
yeah,
goodbye.
it's an and it's a just a it's unplug. It's just a unplug you right from the wall.
I know it's still hard for you because
I still struggle, but like it's
you're such a caring person. You are so giving that it's almost like three strikes you're out. You're like the first time you're like, why did this happen? I'll let you explain. The second time you're like, okay, we're on thin ice now. The third time you're like, goodbye. That's it.
then
You're
there's a
out.
fourth and fifth and sixth time, and no, I'm just kidding.
Well, that's how it used to be for you. And
It's
700. Yeah.
yeah.
And so, okay, thinking about it makes me
Mm.
cry already. Oh, I thought she was going to be my wife, but she broke up with me. This is really difficult. Just remember everything is happening best case scenario. If you can think of your life as even though when you're in the depths and pits of life, in the what you like to call shift the abyss,
The
in
abyss.
the when you're down in the abyss, if you truly say to yourself, I don't know how, I don't know why, but this is happening best case scenario for me. And I'm going to be open to find out why it's going to be best case scenario for me. You're going to change the way you experience that breakup. It's still going to hurt. It's still, we get attached to people, it's that doesn't go away, but you will have the capacity to start to see more light than darkness. That's so,
Well,
so huge.
can I interrupt you? Like, there's this aspect to where I have not opened up directly about my past and my relationship and the things that I've been through. Um, but without giving details, what have you seen from me in this last year since I've been in the cloud, since I've moved? Because I feel like there's been a big shift for me, and I still struggle. I still have my moments, but like, how have you seen? How is shifters from your professional standpoint? How has shifters healing process been this last year? I think people would want to know. They want a story to relate with. Um,
Like I said, I think the when I knew you were serious, about this, I I've always watched you give up and self-sacrifice for everybody in your life since you were 20 years old. You literally, drop everything to do anything for that person, these people in your life, and you are always the one taking the short end of the stick. And I know I'm your mom, and I know I'm obviously like I'm gonna have a view towards, a more positive view towards you, but I also called you out on a lot of your things. And for many years, you were really just almost like absent. Like you were almost like on autopilot, if I could say,
Hmm.
you know? There wasn't just a lot. You were just surviving. You were surviving. I didn't see a lot of passion. You were, and I'm gonna be honest, even in your relationships, you were like that too. You didn't show up and infuse that passion like you do now. Now, your primary directive in life is to support, love other people, but also not at the expense of your own well-being. And so you will do that and you'll show up, but not as like a sacrificial lamb. You show up in a way that really injects hope in people. And you do have boundaries. I've watched you. I've never seen you have boundaries before. You have boundaries and you say, this isn't for me, this is for me. You make choices now. I see you saying no a lot more. I see
I have
you,
said no a lot. There's been times where I call my mom and I will be like, Mom, I'm feeling this type of way. This is what I want to do. And like
yeah,
like this is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm thinking. And you're like, honey bunny, like, don't do it. Don't do it. And I'm like, all right. I think like I have really trusted that you will guide me, like you will help keep my vision focused and clear. And like it's been yeah, I think the power of saying no has been a big thing for me. Like normally I would fall into I don't want to call it a trap, but like, with me being alone, with me like physically I'm alone, and
yeah,
I think like with my abandonment issues that I've always dealt with, like it's been a big growth and saying no to having people, saying no to having a special someone, a Mrs. Shift, like I think
yeah.
it's been very powerful.
Not having your kids full time. You've been there, their entire lives full time. And so I think for you is it's I've seen a big adjustment in your ability to like really take care of yourself, And like a lot of people don't know is when you and I talk, sometimes we get overwhelmed with all these things we want to do in life, but it's like start small because small changes, big impact, okay? I don't know, share with everybody here that's listening, what are one of the small changes, boundaries you've set for yourself lately?
Um, so I feel like lately I have been going through a lot, shift family, and there's been a lot of changes. The best analogy is, people ask how I'm doing, and I say I'm navigating through the abyss. Like we are navigating, and we are finding a way to pursue, and like I'm feeling confident and great, but it's through the abyss, and it's hard. And there's this weird shift happening with like engagement with content not being I haven't filmed content. I might have to sell the bike. It's been winter season. There's been so many changes and there's been so much uncertainty of what's happening. And you know what, I just had a brain fart, Mom. What was the question again? I have a purpose of why I was
No,
saying
no,
that.
it's good. No, it's good because it's all leads up to what are the small changes you're
Oh
making
yeah,
in your
yeah, yeah.
life.
So, I feel I lit family behind the scenes. I feel like things have been like there's a whole like I don't know which direction I'm gonna take. I don't know like where to go right now, where to navigate, and I have all this mental capacity has been stretched. I'm tired. I'm burnt out in a sense, and we turned it to sleep. I need to get more sleep. That's all. All of my problems will figure themselves out if I could just get more sleep. So like I have this boundary, and I didn't update you, Mom, but I did say 12 o'clock, but we're starting at. I've been holding myself to a very firm 1 a.m. rule, very firm. And like that's making like a 2 hour adjustment every night and getting these 2 extra hours of sleep a night, whether I fall asleep or not, but being in bed by 1 a.m.
It's
um,
huge.
has been like a game changer for me. I feel,
That's
you
incredible.
know, I can think more clearly. I have more motivation. I feel more energy. And so I think like there's a lot of things that like we struggle with in life. For those of you guys watching, um, instead of trying to shift the world and change everything, like what is one small thing in your life that like you're beating yourself up over? And you know, there's one thing in your life that you know you need to change. And I knew it was like there's a lot of things in my life that I need to change and work on, but sleep was one that I knew was a big one and one that I could work on today. Um, and so, yeah, getting more sleep. And I'll tell you what, the last 4 days of getting that extra 2 hours of sleep has been amazing. And
Massive.
it's been great.
Yeah, it's huge. I think sometimes we focus on all the areas that are actually going good. We're like, let's just make those better. No, we need to focus on something small that can stack up and help. I just want to read what everyone's writing here. So Nesco says, saying hi to us, popping in, having a hard week. Pray it gets better for you. Candace says, started crying because what you said, like writing everything down, that was very comfort. I would down like that was very confrontational and not in a bad way, but the confrontation hit me. Yeah. I think knowing we were talking about getting over a breakup and we're just kind of like easing into it as we talk about relationships and the first step in getting over it is to accept. And I want to say one thing that I've seen changing you a lot, Shift, this last year and a half, is you have been in that accept phase. Like you're there, and you're actually in step two now. And accept is like, what happened? What was my role? What did I do wrong? What did they do? What am I actually? Sometimes we don't even admit that we've been in a bad relationship or a difficult one. We like gloss it over, but also accept the awareness that you have no clue how to be in a relationship. Like this is one thing I've seen in you. You're like love languages, attachment style. What? You're actually so aware now and you're starting to really become and accept that you didn't know any of this stuff and you weren't putting it into practice. So I think that's the big one. But the second part, the second step is repair. If you can think of the letters ARC, arc, like an arc. This is an acronym, ARC for repair. Accept. Step two is repair. That's doing the work, the inner work. That's where you are. That's the step you are right now. You're in repair mode. I got to fix what was broken in myself, not the other person, in myself.
Yeah.
I don't learn. We talked about boundaries, and we talked about those and learning your attachment style. This is all huge and an aspect of someday being in a healthy relationship. And the third step is create. And that's create the life you want because now you've accepted, you've repaired, and now it's time to create. And you'll be in that step soon when you're ready. For some people, it's short. Sometimes it's years. And you haven't really been single since you were, like I said, 5 years old. This is the longest you've
It's for
been
real, like for real, chat. Like I've been in long relationship. I listen, like I love strongly, and I don't want some fling.
You're
I
a very
don't.
fully committed person. When you're in, you're all in.
Yeah,
You're like all
100%.
in. And it's difficult for you to let go and which is part of your attachment style. So
It is.
we're gonna get you to that a secure attachment style someday, I hope. No, it's been really good having this conversation, but I think, well, it's true, we should be grateful for any love that we're given, and it's really important to learn how to love those around us in the way they need to be loved. You don't let this go by without you looking a little more into this. It's so important. You will transform all your relationships and friendships in your life. Everything. Even your coworkers. There's that visual shift. Have you seen that? It's like tacos and it shows all the five love languages. And I gotta find it because it's so funny. But it's so funny. I'm just gonna look up taco love languages. If go ahead and Google it, guys.
Taco
Because
love languages.
yeah. So words of affirmation. Your tacos are delicious. Acts of service. I made you tacos. Receiving gifts. Here's a taco. Quality time. Let's go out for tacos together. And physical touch.
Let me
Let
hold
me
you like a
hold, let me
taco.
hold you like a taco.
Let me hold you like a taco, girl. Get that ass over here. I'm just playing.
But no, it's so funny. Oh, I sent you one for motorcycles. Oh, there's a motorcycle love language
Yeah,
meme.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jess made one for motorcycles, yo. You know, we might.
Oh,
Jess, do me a favor. Will you send that to me in
that's so
send it
good.
to me in Discord really quick? Message it to me in
Oh
Discord.
man.
I'll post it.
Oh man. That's
Um,
great.
but yeah, I think there's a chat. Let's send chat home with a homework assignment to do something that they can an actionable something that they can do. What's something that anyone watching now, and it's something that's so easy, uh, truly easy. Might be difficult in your mind, but like truly easy that they can do to work on steps of um, creating a more positive change in their relationships.
I would say the easiest thing you can do is dedicate 5 to 10 minutes today, tonight, wherever you are. It's late for me, but take 5, 10 minutes tonight and go and take a free love language test. And just take it and screenshot the results and then share it with the people you love the most. And then send them the test and say, I want you to take it too, because I want to know how
And here's
you
the thing: if you don't have anyone to send it to, if you feel like you don't have anyone, I hope if I go look in the Discord server in a little bit, post your screenshot, post a screenshot in the server. There's someone else that will relate to it. I promise you. And if no one comes through, your boy Shift will be there in a little while. I'll come through and engage with it. So if y'all want to post anything about love languages today in the Discord, post screenshots, whatever it is. Who the hell's calling me right now? People don't call me. Love language.
knowledge is knowledge is power. Like empower yourself. Don't be like an innocent bystander in your life. Like don't life is too short. We gotta love and be loved.
I'm
So
gonna
please.
post. There's this one from Love Stripe, Blossom Up. Which love language quiz should I do? Just any one? Does it matter?
Let's see. I'll send you one. I'll send you a decent one. The one, don't pay for it. Don't pay for your results, guys. Like if they tell
You
you to
can't
pay,
pay
don't
for
do it.
these results.
Don't do it. So I'll send you a link on how to take one. But there's one from actually the Gary Chapman, who is the author of the love languages. He came up with them. But yeah, I would say go take that test. Share it with someone you love, even if it's your mom, even if it's your dad, even if it's like your uncle, like someone you care about, like send it to them.
I'll post it in the
Open the
Discord.
conversation.
I'll,
Yeah.
I'll post it in the Discord later.
Yeah, do it. This will change. Yeah, here it is. Okay, the 5lovelanguagequiz.com. That's what it
Wait,
is with the number 5.
did you? Where'd
So
you post
5.
it?
Oh yeah, here, let me just send it to you. I'll send it to you right now. I'll put it in
Just
this.
put it in the Twitch chat. Are you? Can you see the Twitch
No,
stream?
I'm not because that's on my phone.
Or
Yeah.
just
So I'll send it in the chat here. I'll send it in the chat here. You can be
oh
able
wait, here we go.
to,
Just got us. We got it.
yes. There we go. Thank you, Jess.
There
Yep,
we
there it
go.
is. 5 love language. Yes.
Five love
Perfect.
language.
No, it's really
Take
good
the
for us to learn
test.
these. Take the test.
And I think
Don't.
I think if there's one other thing, if you don't want to take the test, or if you're someone that's struggling with deciding, like I've had people reach out to me actually. I had someone reach out to me today, questioning their just questioning their worth in a relationship, a friendship, and being a good person. And just like you talked to Cadence about, is take a moment, take that 5-10 minutes, and write facts versus feelings on that paper. And like y'all, like I'm telling you, like I said, like when was the last time you gave yourself a 5-minute foot rub? When was the last time you wrote on a piece of paper facts versus feelings about something? And it really like helps, like when you see it, like it really does help if you spend even just 60 seconds, quick facts versus feelings. Like y'all, it really helps open your eyes a little bit, because you're gonna have something in the back of your head telling you now. It's just gonna always be there, just like my I know when it's 1 a.m. there's something in the back. Once 12 o'clock hits, there's something in the back of my head now. It's like, better get ready to be going to sleep soon. Um,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's
Jess, but Jess is a night owl too. We need, it's just like I said, it's about taking care of ourselves, and like I've been focusing on, just that 2 hours extra of sleep a night has been a game changer. Game changer. What happens when I
yeah,
get 3 extra hours? I might just turn into Gojo, for real.
for forever.
Pyro just gifted a tier 1 sub to Cadence. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you.
We were
Thank you.
we were talking about your sister Valentine and her love language. Her top love language is quality time. She called me from. She lives in LA and I'm in England, so we're 8 hour time difference. So our she called me yesterday, and when she calls me, I'm ready to snuggle in because it's gonna be a 4 or 5 hour
Let's
chat.
say
We're
you
on the
bet.
phone for
I realized that when I talked to Valentine, like we'll talk for like we've been having some long talks, and like after 45 minutes I'm like, all right, I gotta get going, and she's just like, oh, like I just got the vibe, like we just started talking, we just started chatting. And I love that though. I love the fact that she, it means a lot to her, and I love that, respect that, and I acknowledge that you're right.
yeah, and that was
Well,
Hayden's top love language too. So
yeah, miss you, little bro. The birds are chirping out here in Minnesota today. 45 degrees, the sun's shining, and the energy is radiating. Thank you again for being here, Mom. Like I said, regardless of how many people showed up, regardless of who takes this message home, um, I know at least one person is here, and I know that the best thing is it's not the it really is not about the numbers or the analytics, but just being able to do this, and to like to go live with you, and his goals is we could have the fame and we can have everything else, but if I have no connection with you, and with the people that I truly consider my love and my family, like it means nothing. So I'm really thankful for you, and thank you for taking time out of your day to orchestrate this, and to give value to others. Like it means a lot to me, and I'm very blessed, and I just want to take a moment and find joy.
yeah, you're very welcome. And just a little, it was just a little nugget to put into your life, guys. Make it better.
Mom,
Go out
how
there.
much, and don't gaslight it. I already know how much. But how much do clients pay you and Taff for a session? Can I say,
I
or
don't
no,
want
you know what? Never mind. Guys, cuz we got people we people want some coaching,
yeah.
here's what I will say. If
I,
you go,
wait, let me ask you, let me ask you a question. What price would you put on true love? What is it worth? What is it love to heal? What is it worth to heal that relationship and create an amazing, incredible connection with your spouse? It's priceless. You can't
I
put a
say
price
like
on it.
$50. I'm just kidding.
You'd be up at the
I'm
dollar store getting
just
some relationship help.
I will say this really quick. I don't promote this, but I've had several people do it. You won't be able to see, Mom, but it'll be on the stream. But if you go to my website, and there is the connect page right here, you see the connect. If you scroll down, look at that. There's a 1 hour call. It's $100. Come through with your call. We'll spend an hour on the phone, and we'll. It's not just it could be any kind of conversation you want, respectfully, of course. But if anyone is looking,
You are definitely a mind shifter. You're incredible. I've seen you
I ain't
have
a
massive.
relationship coach.
No, well, but you've been through so much, and I think you always
I almost could
bring.
be at this point through my, learning through my losses.
Well, like I said in the beginning of this stream, the reason this is so important to me is because I have faced so much heartache in my life, and I had to learn the hard way. And I've turned my pain into my passion, just like you have. And we all have that opportunity. But I was going to say, you give really good value spending time with people. You're really good at helping people break out of their brain cycle of what they're thinking. And I think that's really, really, really valuable. It's huge.
It's just just like with today's stream, I just want to give value to people, and that's what we've been doing, Mama. Damn it. Let's
That's
pat
good.
ourselves. Let's give each other some self love. You know what I'm saying
A
there's a
hug.
lot of self love making going on over here. Thank you for
I
tuning
love
in
you.
today, guys. Mama, I love
Love
you.
you. I love you a lot.
Guys, let's get a mama shift in chat. Let's do. We need to make a mama shift emoji or a gif for you. Like we need to make one. We need to get a mama shift emote up in chat. So, guys, say goodbye to mama.
Maybe I'll next time I'll dress all in purple and we'll get some, some shit
We'll get
going
yeah,
on.
yeah. Drop a purple heart or something for mama shift. Thank you for being here today. I really appreciate you, and we'll talk
Jeff
soon.
saying Jeff is saying I'm selfishly wanting coaching. Jess, come through. Let's do a session, girl. Call me
She
up.
said, I mean, like, just beware. My mama don't play around. She don't play around with me either. Honestly, you tell me how it is. You don't mess around.
I'm
All
gentle,
right.
but
Hey, amazing stream. I love you.
love you guys.
I'm gonna say goodbye to the chat if you wanna hop off the Zoom call.
Yeah, I will. Thanks, guys.
All
See you
right.
soon.
Love you, mom. I'll call you. Bye bye.